and training is definitely something that was one of the cornerstones of the success of the projects you've led, of the success of ESPA. At one point, training up to 6,000 therapists over the course of your career. Yeah, a year. So it's just remarkable. What would you say, because let's go back for a moment on Standards Authority for Touch in Cancer Care, the SATTC standard that you have been launching with industry leading names. There are existing standards, there have been existing standards. Why come up with this one, and how can estheticians or massage therapists start applying to be accredited by the SATTC?
So the reason I set up SATTC, you say there were standards in cancer training. We found that it was very random, and that it was not coordinated because the colleges don't teach it. So so none of the normal college, SIBTAC, ITEC, CIDESCO, cancer training isn't included in the curriculum. I mean, they're already struggling with the size of the curriculum. So we found that there wasn't really a standard. There were lots of individuals teaching. And one of the things, well, there were several things. Number one, we were finding that consumers were being turned away in a really not very nice way at all. And it wasn't intentional. It was just, again, I come back to therapists not having the right words. So, they'd fill out their consultation form, or they'd talk and they'd say, oh, well, I had cancer 2 years ago. And suddenly, nobody would touch them. And as an industry that is supposed to be caring and empathetic and all the rest of it, this was increasing. Obviously, it was increasing along with cancer touching 1 in 2 people born after 1970, which is a terrifying figure. So it was the organization was set up twofold, and we wanted to start in the UK and Ireland purely because we knew it would be difficult to get the standards implemented and agreed on. And the people I brought together have been all doing it for over 15 years. And so huge amount of knowledge there. But when we were doing the standards, just to tell you, it was a battle because they're so passionate about it. And many people have said to me, this has so long been needed, but nobody could get them all to agree or sit around a table. And that was the challenge. So that's one thing we have all agreed. We have set the standards. So there's a list of training providers. So we linked with ThinkTree Hub on the one hand, and Abby at Spa Breaks on the other. The other thing was consumers weren't, they weren't trusting. They needed to know that wherever they were going, if it's your sister buying you a spa break, or it's you want to take your mum and your sister or your best friend or whatever, and then suddenly they get there and you're turned away, that is psychologically horrendous. So one of the main purposes was really to have a go-to for the consumers. So there were 2. It was the therapists and the consumers. So if you go to the SATTC website, there's a link through to ThinkTree Hub. And if you've done training or you've got the right qualifications, you can immediately go on the list of individual therapists or wellness providers. There's holistic practitioners, all sorts on there, and we have a list. Or you can look at the training providers and you can upgun your skills if you want to. There's lots of different types and lengths of trainings. And then on the other side, we've got spa breaks. So if you're looking for a spa, I think now we have nearly 300 on safe hands on spa breaks in the UK. And we're about to hit global because so many of the hotel brands are coming to us as well, wanting the training. So the good thing, I mean, obviously I want to plug SATTC, it's a not-for-profit, nobody's making any money out of it, it's all voluntary, is because I think it's a start with this therapist. We've got to help the therapists. And I think if they do the cancer piece, the type 2 diabetes, the respiratory, all the mental health, it will follow. All of them are slightly different, but there's a lot of commonality there. And it'll start with this gradual advanced training that we need to do.